On today's episode, I want to talk about my future in Germany and whether or not German citizenship is right for me. Hello, Yin Lieblings. I'm Mari, science fiction and fantasy author who's been living in southern Germany since 2014. So we're in this new year, like February at this point, with this new coalition in the German government. I know a lot of other expat immigrant YouTubers have already covered this topic, but I'm going to cover it anyway. Like a month late to the party, but... So what is the topic? For those of you who don't live in Germany, it was widely talked about that Merkel finally stepped down as Chancellor of Germany, and there was a lot of speculation, even in the US media, about who her successor would be. Of course, after the election, I didn't really see anything about it in the US. Like, stop talking about it. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But if you don't know, well, first I did a German politics 101 video a while back. That goes into more details on how voting works in Germany, but the end result is Olaf Scholz from SPD, the Social Democratic Party Deutschland, is in a traffic light coalition with FDP, the Freien Demokratenpartei, and the Green Party. So what does that have to do with citizenship? Well, this new coalition has rolled out ideas of making the path to German citizenship easier, which includes allowing dual citizenship. So what are the current laws and what will change? At the moment, dual citizenship is technically not allowed in Germany. There are a few exceptions. You can have multiple citizenships if the other citizenship is part of the EU. Though I do have a friend who is German, Swiss, and Canadian. Good for her. And Swiss and Canada are not countries of the EU, but they think they fall under like the other exceptions, which is having citizenship in another country that does not allow you to give up said citizenship. I have another friend who was born in Brazil to German parents and was thus Brazilian. Brazil would not allow him to give up citizenship because you were Brazilian, that's it, end all be all. So Germany had to accept it, and he therefore has dual citizenship with Germany and Brazil. Peru is another one of those countries that also doesn't allow you to give up citizenship. However, you can in the US. Thus, for a lot of US citizens living in Germany, the only path to German citizenship is to give up their American one. The same can also be said for Germans living in the States. One of my friends has an aunt who's been living in the US for over 30 years. She has American children and lives the American life, and yet has to drive several hours each way to her immigration lawyer a few times a year to make sure she maintains her legal status in the States. Because if she tries to get American citizenship, Germany will say, "You know German no more," and strip her of her citizenship. Oh my God. Yeah, I went that. I went there. Anyway, so you can imagine the collective sigh of relief when this new coalition announced changes that would allow dual citizenship. Granted, most of this has to do with foreigners living in Germany and not German citizens living outside of Deutschland, which I personally hope it is included because that would be a dick move, in my opinion. But that's not all. They plan on shortening the time frame for applying for naturalization to only 5 years or 3 years in the case of special integration achievements. And I'm pretty sure being married to a German is one of those. At the moment, non-Germans who are not married to a German could only apply for naturalization after having continuous legal residence in Germany for 8 years. This could be reduced to 7 years with a completed integration course or 6 years with German language skills better than B1. There is more, but for the sake of brevity, I just wanted to focus on the things that affect me because I am a narcissist. So what does that mean for me? It could mean that I can gain German citizenship without having to give up my American one. So the question is, do I want one? Honestly, I do. I have lived in Germany for almost 8 years. It's home. We are about to start adding onto our house. Children would be nice, and they will be allowed to have both citizenships. So essentially, I'm just every year kind of putting more and more roots into this country, and citizenship feels like a natural step. However, with the current laws, the idea of giving up the US citizenship never sat well with me. And it is more than just a sense of nationalistic pride. I do still love my home country, warts and all. And the culture is at least one half of my identity and not something I can easily renounce. Renouncing citizenship is not uncommon. A lot of Americans have given up citizenship because, well, let's be honest, the U.S. is one of two countries, the other being Eritrea, that taxes their citizens based on citizenship and not residency. So the number of Americans giving up citizenship went up in 2010 during the Obama administration with the introduction of FATCA, which is the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, which essentially requires all non-U.S. foreign financial institutions to search their records for customers with a connection to the U.S., meaning the U.S. is rifling through everyone's bank account as we speak to make sure they're not American and avoiding paying or filing taxes. So there are valid reasons why folks are giving up citizenship, especially accidental Americans, those who were born in the States but moved away shortly afterwards and have no other connections except a mysterious visit from the IRS about them owing money to the U.S. all of a sudden. That happens. Unfortunately, there are consequences to giving up U.S. citizenship besides, like the emotional cost. It is expensive. It is actually the most expensive in the world. It costs $2,350 to start the process. And then there's an exit tax for all the assets you have in the States, which I personally have a lot because I can't save for retirement in Germany because of U.S. tax law. So I do it in the States. It's a mess. You will also be put on a list that is public. It's kind of a shame list because why not America? The list is called the Quarterly Publication of Individuals Who Have Chosen to Expatriate. And I can also be banned from entering the U.S., as if suddenly being a foreigner in your own country wasn't bad enough. This would happen if the U.S. government became aware that you gave up citizenship to avoid having to deal with U.S. taxes, which I find rather nefarious because you can't say that the taxes are why you're giving up citizenship, even though quite a few experts believe that's the case. And this then essentially gives the U.S. a free pass to continue this practice because they believe it's not a problem because no one is complaining. Like, it's wild, right? But this is all conjecture. Please, U.S. government, don't punish me. Besides all that, I can't justify giving up citizenship because I still have family there and my friends and, quite a few have actually been moving back to Indianapolis. So that's like beneficial to me. It's still home. I am my dad's sixth child, but I'm my mom's only child. And if she needs care, I may need to go home. However, if I'm away from Germany for more than 6 months, I can lose my German permanent residency. So that's also not appealing. But we are actually in the process of working on my mom's Italian citizenship. But that's a topic for another day. If you're interested about the idea of me getting Italian citizenship, let me know in the comments. And that's a story in and of itself. So yeah, giving up citizenship is not easy. And as much as I love Germany and would love citizenship, I couldn't justify everything else I would essentially be losing in order to gain a German passport. However, with these new regulations, if it all works out as the way we're all hoping, it would allow me to keep my freedom passport as well as one for the land of beer and pretzels. And if that's the case, you best believe I will be first in line to apply. What do you think? What would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up. It lets me and the YouTubes know that you like this kind of content and you want to see more. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions or if there's a certain topic you'd like to see on this channel. If you want more info about my books and newsletter, please check them out in the description below. And don't forget to connect with me on social media, whether it is through the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Twitters, or the Facebooks. And that's it. Until next time, ade!